Hi, I'm Isla from Turkey. The night I was born, Dad held me close and said tearfully,
God, she's so beautiful. I will name her Isla, my moonlight.
Just then, the doctor came in with a grim face and told my parents that they couldn't have any more children. Dad immediately dumped me in Mom's arms.
You mean this is all I get? I won't have any sons? Ever? This is the darkest moment of my life.
Growing up, Mom adored me, but I knew Dad thought I was a burden. The nicest thing he ever said to me was,
You're just a stupid girl, but thank God you're pretty.
Dad owned a small tea shop in the city. Once when I was 10, he came down with the flu, and he was being such a big baby.
No one knows my suffering. If only I had a son to run my tea shop, but no, I got a dumb daughter.
He buried his head in his blanket and started to cry. Mom and I just rolled our eyes and went to the shop that day, and I thought we were doing great. Sometime later, a foreign-looking woman sat down at a table. When I asked her what she'd like, she said with a tired smile, Why don't you surprise me? I skipped off and brewed my favorite mixture of lemon and saffron. I make it for Mom when she's tired. It'll make you feel better too. And you don't have to pay for this. The woman's eyes flew open as she tasted it. My God, this is really special. And so are you. Thank you for this tea of kindness. She tried to pay me, but I refused. And she left. But a few days later, Dad came home from the shop and threw a newspaper at me.
What is this stupid tea of kindness that everyone's been asking me about?
It turns out the woman was some big journalist, and she'd written an article about the amazing tea at our shop. And now suddenly, tourists and locals were coming over asking for it. I'll teach you how to make it, Dad, if you say please. All I got was a flying shoe, but I did teach him, and he even let me help out more often. Once in the 8th grade, I was serving customers on a really sunny day when suddenly my back and arms started to itch horribly. I dropped my tray and started scratching like crazy as people stared at me, and I just ran home. Mom, what's happening to me? My skin was all red and peeling off. Mom quickly took me to the doctor, and he said I had a condition called desquamation. My skin started flaking when it was too irritated by something. There wasn't a cure, but he gave us some expensive cream to soothe my skin. Don't tell your dad about this, okay? I'll get the money for the cream somehow. A week later, Mom came home with some great news. She'd gotten a janitor's job in a fancy high school, and even better, I could go there for free. But it was so much fancier than I'd imagined. The minute I entered the classroom, I knew I was being scanned from head to toe, and everyone was judging my clothes and shoes. And turns out, no one even wanted to sit with me at lunch because I didn't look a certain way. But I didn't care. I had a chance to study at a great school, and I wasn't wasting it. One day, I went into the bathroom, and I found some girls from my class there, and the meanest one, Zara, was screaming at Mom. You moron! You spilled all that dirty water on my shoes. I get that you're a janitor because you're stupid, but are you blind too? I pushed her up against the wall. No one talks to my mom like that. Do you hear me? Mom? Finally, it makes sense why someone like you is in this school. She pushed me back and pounced on me. As Mom ran forward to pull us apart, she slipped on the wet floor and fell really hard. Oh my God, Mom! The school staff rushed her to the hospital, and after hours of waiting, we found out that Mom had injured her back and she couldn't walk. I was devastated. It was all my fault. If I hadn't been fighting with Zara, none of this would have happened. The principal said I could still attend school at half the fee, but I couldn't afford that either. One evening, as I was working at the shop, I came across the journalist I'd met years ago. Wow, look how lovely you've grown up to be. But sweetheart, why do you look so sad? I broke down and told her everything. After I was done, she said, I have an offer that might solve some of your problems. You could become a model. I could connect you to all the right people, and it pays really well. Me? A model? The woman told me to think about it, and I did. It could mean I'd still be able to go to school and even save money to get Mom better treatment. I decided to bring it up at dinner that night. Dad, I'm taking up a modeling job, and he suddenly spat out his food.
Modeling? Where did you even get such a stupid idea?
What's wrong with it?
It's for morons who don't have any brains, and it's disgraceful.
Well, I do have brains, so I'm not gonna be stupid enough to waste this chance. I can make our lives better, especially Mom's.
I said no!
I already said yes! And with that, I angrily smashed my plate on the floor. Dad looked shocked, and I stormed off. I called up the woman and said I was taking the job. I put my cream all over my skin before going to the shoot. I couldn't let anyone know about my condition, or I'd never get the job. Everyone on set welcomed me warmly, and I was surprised that I was kind of a natural at this. 2 weeks later, I was on the front cover of a teen magazine, and Mom was delighted when I showed it to her. But of course, Dad still wasn't talking to me, and I found the magazine torn up in the trash later. But I'd been paid good money. I was able to buy some new clothes for Mom and myself, and I was back in school. And suddenly, it was a different place. People who acted like I hadn't existed before were smiling at me like we were best friends. And at lunch, I had a lot of company. A boy even asked me for my autograph. Of course, none of this was sitting too well with one person, Zara. I could see smoke coming out of her ears from a mile away. Soon after, we had a fundraiser modeling contest in school, and I was excited to participate. But as I was getting ready, I suddenly saw Zara come and sit in the chair next to me. What are you looking at? One magazine cover and you think you're the princess of this school? How hard can modeling be anyway, if you can do it? Turns out, pretty hard for her. Zara was so bad at it. She walked like a monkey and kept waving her arms like a freaking robot. And then suddenly she tripped on her dress and landed flat on her face. I ran forward to help her, but she just pushed me away. Get away, you witch! You'll pay for this! How was it even my fault? She was crazy. But a few days later, I was shocked to find her at a shoot, and I was told we'd be working together. Why are you even here, Zara? You're really bad at this. Oh, I know. But when you're really rich, you don't have to be good at anything. You just throw money at stuff and get what you want. And let me tell you, it's amazing. This girl. Also, she was so awkward, the shoot took us 6 hours. Later, as the makeup artist was removing foundation from my arms, I suddenly felt my skin sting terribly. OMG, your skin's coming off. What did I do? Oh, it's just allergies. It'll be okay. I quickly took the cream out of my bag and put it on, and then left as fast as I could. Thank God no one else was around. A few days later in the library, I was reading when someone pushed a note towards me. I looked up to see a cute, nerdy guy everyone knew as a math genius care to be my date at the spring dance. I didn't even know him, but just then I spotted Zara frowning at me like a creep. So I wrote yes and gave it back with a smile. I'd go out with a monkey if it annoyed her. But luckily, it turned out Omar was a sweet guy, and I was having a good time with him. Once he was over to help me with a math assignment, and suddenly he lifted my chin and looked into my eyes. Was he gonna kiss me? Just then my door flew open, and it was Dad. He leaped at Omar, who shrieked, and jumped out of the window faster than lightning. Dad, we were just studying.
Do you think I'm a fool? I knew you'd be out of control once you became a model. You're grounded for a month. No school, no modeling.
I slammed the door behind him. I had a really important show the next day, and he knew it. I had no choice but to sneak out with Omar's help. Backstage, he kissed me on the cheek and wished me luck. As I peeked out at the runway, I saw that the lights looked really intense. I quickly put some cream on my arms and legs before walking out. Suddenly, I felt crazy itching all over, like nothing I'd ever felt before. I tried to ignore it and go on, but it felt like the longest walk of my life. And then, I couldn't bear it any longer. I went wild, scratching myself and screaming as I looked at my skin, and I could feel hundreds of eyes on me. Then, I passed out. I woke up hours later in the hospital to Dad's worried face.
Oh God, Isla, are you okay?
The doctor came in holding my cream and asking me if I'd applied it before the show.
We tested it, and it had some unusual chemicals which made your condition 10 times worse.
What? But I'd been using this cream for ages. That's the first time Dad heard about my condition, and he was shocked I'd kept it a secret from him. I guess I didn't want to make you even more disappointed, Dad. He was just silent and took me home. The next day, I woke up to find that my video of going bonkers on the ramp had gone viral. I could just see my modeling career going down the drain. I didn't even go to school. I decided to go to the tea shop that evening, and I got the shock of my life. I spotted Zara on a table with Omar. Oh, hi, Isla. Back to being a waitress? Well, my brother and I will have some of your special tea, please. Brother? Yeah, brother. And I may have found out about your condition, and I may have asked him to mix something in with your cream. What? Are you guys absolutely insane? Why would you do that? Because someone needs to show you your place. Let me tell you something I discovered. Our dads are brothers. Yeah, we're cousins. Ugh, yuck. Cousins? You're making that up. I wish. But there's a big difference between us. I'm the daughter of a millionaire businessman, and you need to remember that you're the daughter of a loser tea seller and a crippled janitor. I was about to leap forward and attack her, but suddenly some of our customers jumped in.
Hey, we love this place and the owners. You can't treat them like trash.
They all started shouting and booing, and Zara and Omar fled from there. Dad had witnessed the whole scene, and I asked him about these secret cousins.
I've never seen them before myself. My brother and I haven't spoken in 20 years. He cheated me out of all my wealth and left me penniless. I had to start from scratch with this tea shop. That's family for you.
For the first time, I felt really sorry for him. I took his hand. But that's not your family anymore. Mom is, and I am. And for the first time, Dad actually smiled at me. I thought my modeling days were numbered, but none of my agents cared about what had happened at the show. They said I was one of the best models they'd worked with, and I'd never let my condition hold me back before. So why should it matter?
Hi, I'm Jane, and I'm from New York City. And this is my story of how being short, like really short, leads me to have a unique, crazy life. So, I had a really crazy mother who was mad about shopping. Shoes, clothes, makeup, perfumes. She stopped at nothing. One day, when I was 2 years old, she left me at the mall because her hands were full of bags.
Where's Jane?
What?
You took Jane with you while shopping, right? Where is she?
Oh, my hands were full of bags. I might have just left her at the mall. Plus, she's too tiny and short for her age, so it's easy to forget her. Short and ugly. I wonder who she looks like. My dad was furious.
I already knew your shopping was a problem, but this is the last straw!
So he took me and left Mom for good. For a while, Dad and I lived happily in a small apartment. But when I was 8, Dad discovered that he didn't have much time to live, so he decided to leave me with his first wife. He took me to her huge mansion, hugged me really tightly, and left, and I never saw Dad again. Dad's first wife didn't have any children of her own. She was always dressed in black and never smiled. She looked just like a creepy widow. So I started calling her the widow. But there was no denying that the widow was rich. Practically everything in her house was made of gold, even the spoons. On the first day of my new school, the widow sent me off to school in a limo. And at school, the widow had the butler distribute free ice cream for a month so everyone would be nice to me. At first, it was crazy fun. But on my 10th birthday, even though I was surrounded by friends, I broke down into tears. I missed my parents so much. And then I noticed that no one brought any gifts for me. When I asked them why, some boy yelled, "Because we don't like you, you dwarf, and your breath smells bad." Suddenly, the widow showed up from behind him and put her hand on his mouth and dragged him away. What was going on? So, everyone in school liked me only because of the widow's money? One day, when my so-called best friend announced,
"Hey girls, let's go get some ice cream. Jane's buying."
I lost my cool.
"No, I'm not. You want it? Go get it yourself. I'm not your debit card." "Look at this dwarf being so mean. It's not even your money, Jane. You're a charity case."
They all angrily marched away, and after that, I was a loner. Not only that, it was really annoying that I never got picked during gym class, and I really wanted to play basketball. So one day, in 6th grade, I ran straight onto the court, snatched the ball from another kid, and started dribbling it away. I was small, but fast. Just then, the substitute gym teacher came running onto the court, blowing his whistle furiously. And next thing I knew, he had picked me up and was carrying me away.
We have a kindergartner on the loose! Don't you know you could seriously get hurt, kid?
He just wouldn't listen and took me to the principal. He sure looked dumb when the principal told him I was in the 6th grade, but I was still banned from playing. It was too dangerous for me. One day, when I was in 9th grade, right before my exam was about to start, my teacher came up to me and put her hand on my forehead. "Jane, dear, your mom said you aren't feeling well today. You can go home and rest." "But I'm not sick." "Yes, you are, sweetie. You have a horrible fever." And the teacher just dragged me out of the room. After the exams, when I looked at my report card, I was shocked. I got an A+ on an exam I didn't even write, and all the rest as well. The widow then threw a fancy party where she literally distributed money. Worst of all, the party was full of my teachers. Ugh, talk about boring. The only person at the party my age was Andrew from school, the son of one of the teachers. I always had a crush on him, and now he was making his way to me. My heart began to beat like crazy. I do, Andrew, I do. How does it feel to take something you don't deserve, just because you have money? Huh? What do you mean? Oh, come on. Everyone in class already guessed your mother bought those fake grades for you. Aren't you ashamed? How could you have possibly topped when everyone knows I'm the smartest? I never asked her to do it. She's not even my mom. It's not my fault. Yeah, your grades are better than your height. Dwarves can't be the smartest. I stood there, shocked, and I decided it was time for me to tell the widow to change. But she said that she didn't mean any harm. She just wanted to help me get into some college, as it was my dad's last wish. I begged her to let me do it on my own. Eventually, she agreed. Sadly, that didn't pan out as I'd planned. I wasn't doing well in school at all. And without the widow's money, the teachers weren't so nice anymore. Why is your handwriting so big when you're so short? Are you so bad at math because it's hard to understand things with your teeny tiny brain? I flunked horribly and was held back a grade. My ex-best friend smirked and said, "Keep flunking and you'll finally reach a grade that suits your height. Can you just leave me alone?" "Oh, I heard wearing a pink hat while studying helps your brain work because the brain likes the color pink. I tried it, but it didn't work. Guess I'm already a genius." Or that you don't have a brain. As I left for home that day, with angry tears in my eyes, I ran straight into someone. Andrew. "Hey, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" "Listen, just back off. I have enough troubles without you." But Andrew did not back off. The next few days, he really started chasing me all over school. There was just no escaping him. Wherever I went, there he was. "What's wrong with you? I'm trying to study. Stop stalking me." "I'm just worried about you. Let me help you with your grades." "Why? I appreciate it, but you really don't have to feel sorry for me." "I don't feel sorry. I understand you want to rely on yourself, and I respect that. I'm just offering to help, and also trying to make up for being a jerk." Well, I knew he was a math whiz. If anyone could help me, it was him. From that day onwards, every night, he snuck in from my window to help me study. But he was so distractingly cute and funny. We were becoming super close. The night before the exam, the door flew open and the widow barged in. She started yelling at me. "Boys ruin everything. This is probably why you don't get good grades. You're so distracted all the time." Then she dragged him to the window and told him to leave the way he came. "He isn't my boyfriend. He's my private teacher. He's helping me with math." But she wasn't listening. So Andrew climbed down the tree outside the window and left. The next day, I passed the exam and was over the moon. I ran to him and threw my arms around him. "I did it! I passed the math exam on my own!" Then, before I knew what I was doing, I kissed him. And what an utterly stupid thing to do that was! Because the minute our lips touched, he froze. I was so embarrassed. I let him go and stepped back. I'm so sorry." "Jane, I had no idea that you felt this way about me. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong idea, but I was just looking out for you. You know, like a little sister. You're just not my type." "Wait, what?" I never felt so humiliated in my entire life. Without another word, I just turned around and fled. And that was my real first heartbreak. I refused to go down for dinner that evening and shut myself up in my room. A little later, the widow knocked and came in. "Do you want to tell me what's wrong, Jane?" I burst into tears and told her everything. "You were right. Boys ruin everything. From now on, I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to get a university scholarship and leave this stupid place." And for the first time ever, the widow hugged me. It was really awkward, but also kind of nice. "I'll send you to any university you want. You just focus on studying really hard." And that's what I did. I really focused on my lessons. And at home, the widow started to help me out too. She also had her chef make me really healthy food and gave me multivitamins regularly. She helped me out with all my college applications, and for the first time since Dad, I felt like I did have a parent. As I was about to graduate high school, our student counselor called me one day to her office to give me some really amazing news. You got into your dream university, Jane! Congratulations! I squealed in excitement and hugged her. In my excitement, I knocked over my bag, and my bottle of vitamins fell out. Just then, the counselor picked up one of the pills, looking confused. Jane, why are you eating these? Oh, they're just multivitamins. No, they're not, Jane. These pills are given to kids with ADHD to improve focus. No one should be taking these unless a doctor prescribes them. I couldn't believe it. Why would the widow do this? I rushed home and barged straight into her room, throwing the pills on her bed. Why have you been lying to me that these are vitamins? Why are you feeding me pills I don't need? Are you trying to poison me? The widow looked stunned. Then she said, Jane, just let me explain. I was only trying to help you get better. Oh, so you thought I'm so dumb that I needed pills to make me smarter? I only want what's best for you, Jane. That's all I ever wanted. And then I said the words I would regret for the rest of my life. Well, in case you forgot, let me remind you, you're not my mom. You're just a pathetic old widow, and you don't deserve to have kids. And with that, I stormed off to my room. I didn't speak a word to her for the next few weeks, and then I left for university. I felt bad for the things I'd said, but I was too angry to take them back. I was doing really well at university. I met a wonderful guy, Dave. He was the only person I'd ever met who didn't treat me like I was dumb, and he never made me feel little in any way. One day, while we were on a date, I got a terrible phone call. It was a doctor from some hospital saying the widow had been found unconscious in her home and was really unwell. Dave drove me straight to the hospital, and when I went to her, it broke my heart seeing her so pale and weak. I sat down by her and started to cry. Please be okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean those awful things I said. I love you. You're my mom. Just then, her eyes fluttered open. She gave me a weak smile. Jane, I'm so glad you're here, dear. I'm sorry, too. You were always so tiny. I became really overprotective. I see now that you didn't need that at all. I moved back with Mom to take care of her, and soon she fully recovered. I graduated with honors from university, and I was so happy she could be there. After university, Dave and I got married and had 2 beautiful kids together. We named our son after my dad, and our little girl after the widow, her godmother.